Right, the next block of content is going to be about ChessBase, and then leading into chess engines, and Colin P is going to talk to us about that.
Okay, everybody. Yeah, thanks, Steve. We've already had a review of a couple of websites which act as databases which you can go to and search for games and play through them and put an engine on them. So I'm going to talk for 5 minutes, which is really not enough time to do it justice, about ChessBase. And that's basically a program that you install on your computer, and you can do the same sort of thing. You can create databases, you can download databases, and use ChessBase to have a look at them. So I'll click on my ChessBase icon. I've got ChessBase version 15 and the icon's there. And it loads ChessBase. And I'll go there. And what each of these are, you can see it gives a list of the folders in my ChessBase installation directory and a list of some databases that I've got. So what does that mean? I've got one containing my own games. If I click on it, then it opens it up. And I've manually recorded, or in the main manually recorded, all of the competitive long play games I've played since 1992, if I remember. And this gives me a way to navigate easily through them and play them. So this is some fairly obvious advantages of just storing them in a folder or a games book. You can quickly navigate to a game, open it up. He said, hopefully. I did say quickly. And there you can see the sort of game board that you've seen on quite a few of the Camberley Chess Club presentations, with the board window and the game on the right-hand side, and using standard algebraic notation. And it's easy to navigate through the game. Just quickly go through. And you can add variations and so on and so forth. So it provides a very quick way to do that. Other things you can do in a database, and one of the main purposes of it really, is you can search for it. So I might wonder to myself, how many times have I had this position in my own games? And I can do a quick search, and it lists all of the games I've played where this position has occurred. So I can quickly have an idea and jog my memory of what I've played before, and so on and so forth. As you can see, it's pretty quick to do that. And again, it saves a lot of searching about manually or relying on your memory to do it. If I'll just go on a few moves. It's also easy to see how often a certain position has played in any other database that you've got. So I've got a database called Huge, and I was hoping for a slightly different option to appear here, to be completely honest, but never mind. And that contains a load of games that came with the database that I got when I purchased ChessBase in the first place, and which I've added to since then. So if I click that, I don't want to click that actually. Let's just try that again. Okay. Then relatively quickly. Now, Huge is a database which contains over 6 million games. I could have chosen to search on the slightly smaller databases, but very quickly I can get a tree from the position I'm looking, opening position I'm looking at the board, and I can see that which moves have been played most often and the sort of players that have played them. Most of whom are somewhat better than I am, but never mind that.
Colin, can I suggest something? Just try this.
Yeah.
If you if you put your cursor, can you see that little icon that says top games?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right, go right into the next window. That's it. Keep going down to the right, bottom right of that window.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Lower.
Oh, what, right to the bottom.
Yeah, it's like the golden shot.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's a load of games.
Yeah, no. Put the cursor in the grey bit underneath, and then to the right of that. That's it.
Here.
Yeah. Click that.
Top games, yeah.
So what that does is it redoes the search that Colin just mentioned, but it's a little more selective, and it has its criteria for what it considers to be top games. But the suggestion is that its view is more reliable.
Yeah, that's very good. I remember with earlier versions of ChessBase, I kind of did that manually. Every time I updated the database, I would extract out only those games played by people rated 2500 and over, and use that as my reference database, as ChessBase calls it. But this way is obviously a nice way to do it automatically. Yeah, so thanks for that.
Do any of these games have expert annotations, or are they just the plain scores?
Some do, some don't. So how can I find that out? It isn't given. Typically, it's just a dump of games, but sometimes they are annotated by...
That VCS thing, Colin, on the right there on the bottom thing, that's an indication of various things. I'm not sure which is which.
Yeah, that's right. So if you're in a database, if you open a database, and this refers to my database, so if it's got VCS or VC, I've analysed it and I've put some variations in it. So if I close this game and I look for VCS, then or VC or whatever, then you'll see that I have put some comments on it, which aren't obviously expert comments. And they could be vast textual comments with lots of different lines, or it could be just a single exclamation mark. I think will give some pointer like that.
Yeah, if you go back to your huge database, yeah, and then click the Players tab, top left.
Yeah, okay. I've only got 5 minutes for this.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you can spend hours doing
Oh yeah, it's a very rich application.
It's a very rich application. Yeah, but go on. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, if you click the Players tab, or have you done that already?
No. Yeah.
Then there's a search box down the bottom left. Bottom left. It is important to actually capitalize the first letter.
Oh, okay.
It's misleading. But if you go like Fischer, for example, or Spassky.
Okay.
Okay, and then highlight Boris Spassky.
4,000 games.
And then if you right click, yeah, and go, and then you can go dossier.
Oh, okay. Okay. How long does that take?
Shouldn't take long.
Okay.
Just go click normal. If you go normal, so it does a report on that particular player, and also it will list all the games that are, well, that Spassky annotated. It won't list all the games that, all of Spassky's games that have been annotated. Okay, mate. Yeah, it's still doing it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just doing it on 4,000 games, remember. But if you're doing it, say somebody of, well, similar rating to me, say, but they're probably, you know, we've all got a number of games in these databases from playing in weekend tournaments and so on. You know, playing in 4NCL, for example. So if you know, do this for somebody that you might very reasonably meet in a tournament or even in the league, then this can give you quite a lot of useful information on the player, you know, what openings they play and so on.
Yeah, do you want to stop that? Because
yeah, I'll stop this one.
I will show you something that is actually very useful. Yeah, click stop there.
Yeah, I have done. Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't like you.
No, it doesn't like me.
Boring you.
One thing I did while we're waiting, well, I did notice there was a desktop icon for Grand Theft Auto, Colin.
Yeah, that's right. I'm complete crap at it. Do you want a demo of it?
No.
Well, I'll talk about ChessBase a little bit while we're talking.
What does ChessBase cost?
I was just about to come to that, in fact. ChessBase, I've just been on the website today. The ChessBase 16 software, so I'm out of date, but probably not really. So software only is €119.90. You get it, it's a German company, so prices in euros. And if you buy what they call the starter package, which is the software plus a database, then it's 200 euros effectively, 199.9 euros. So it isn't that cheap. What's that? It's the software itself is about 100 quid, a touch over. So it's not cheap. It's probably fair to say it's the industry standard. I suspect that all professional players use it, to be honest, amongst other things. And a lot of amateur players use it too.
It's a one-off payments at the start, and then do you have incremental payments to keep it up to date after that?
Well, there are various options. So, as is typical with a lot of software nowadays, it's merging between the desktop application, which is what I'm showing you, and the more internet-based one. So you can pay what looks like to be a rental, so that you connect your ChessBase to a huge database.
Can you scroll down here a sec, Colin?
Sorry, but I was just going to say that the huge database is stored online. So ChessBase updates it totally for you, and they will do useful things like normalizing the players' names. Like I'm sure we've all seen Korchnoy's name spelt in 5 different ways, for example. And that makes it incredibly difficult. If you know damn well that you're looking for a Korchnoy game, you've got to search 5 times sometimes with the various spelling. But if a company maintains the database like ChessBase, they'll normalize all that stuff for you, which is very good.
Just scroll down here. Yeah. Okay. So if you sorry.
Can I just say something? What I do is I get updates from TWIC, the Week in Chess, every Tuesday morning.
Okay.
It comes in various formats: PGN, IUCBV, and it doesn't have 4 NCLing all the time, or at least not until the very end.
No.
But it's pretty good. It's got most international games and quite a lot of other games, isn't it?
It does. I do the same thing as well, Mark. But they don't normalise the players' names, for example.
Correct.
So quite often you will have to sort of merge them together and generally stuff about.
No, but
it is good.
I just say I'm on ChessBase 12 still, and the names are not normalised on that by any means. What I do when I'm searching for someone, I can see they're the same people. Got to be careful about that. Then you can assign them with a simple right click and give them all these games the same name.
Okay.
And then, but I do it on people I'm interested in rather than the whole lot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. You can get around that problem certainly. Yeah. I do the same thing, and the advantage of that is it's free. Downloading from website. It's a website we didn't mention, isn't it? Come to think of it.
What's the name of that one again?
The Week in Chess.
Yep.
I can't remember the actual address. I suspect it is twic.com.
If you just search for TWIC, apart from a union, you're going to get the next one. You're going to get is that site. It's a good site. It reports on a lot of stuff. It's a good site anyway. But in the TWIC archive, I think it's called the TWIC archive. It's the archive anyway. It has a whole bunch of games in different formats. IUCBV across a lot, but they're in PGN as well. Across a long time. In some cases, every Tuesday. I pick it up Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Do you want to minimise this window, Paul? Colin, there's something else I wanted to.
Yeah.
Or kill it actually. Just kill.
Am I running over time, Steve?
Yeah. Yes, you are. I'd like to get onto the link between ChessBase and engines.
Okay.
So that we can then pass on to Colin to talk about the.
Okay. Shall I go on to that directly?
Yeah.
Or more or less directly. what is this window? Okay, let's close that one. Yeah, okay, let me go back to CP Games. All I was going to say, well, I was going to say a couple of things, but I will do the engines very shortly, is that this is my games, and this is how I input a game. I open a new game window by clicking that button there, or hitting Control N, which is actually what I did just now. And I can just play the moves of the game. And I won't go through the whole game, but just to demonstrate the point, is that it's quite easy to do. And I can just save the game. And it asks me where I want to save it. And it asks me who the players are.
Well, I think I'm right in saying if you just want to keep an electronic scorebook, effectively,
Yeah.
you can get ChessBase Reader free and type your moves in like this.
Correct.
No, John.
Yes.
I don't think you can save the games.
What you got? No.
Sorry?
You can't save the games if you do that.
You can.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
You can. I downloaded ChessBase Reader when I was going to do a one of these Tuesday talks.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Needed some way to display a couple of Tony Mars games or something like that. And
Yeah, that's different.
oh no, sorry. No, it was my own game versus Martin, actually. So it wasn't.
How did you get the game in ChessBase Reader?
I just played it in like you just said, and then somehow saved it. I can't remember the details, but it's definitely doable.
Oh,
It's
okay.
unusual because the clue's in the name. It's chess-based reader. That's the the fact that it offers more stuff is interesting because that must be fairly new.
Well, I did go onto the website today because what I was going to say with great confidence was that what we've been looking at now is just ChessBase or the full ChessBase. What I was originally planning to say was that ChessBase Reader could only let you handle a limited number of games. But I've got a database of 3 million where I thought the limit was about 2,000. And I tried saving a game in ChessBase Reader, but it didn't let me. So, well, that's you can open an existing. If you've got a PGN game already, you can certainly open it because it reads it. But it wouldn't let me save it. But let's park that a little bit.
I'll come back on that in a forthcoming week.
Okay.
Not next week because we've got Cyrus, but yeah, we'll clarify that.
Okay. So let's go back to this original game, and let's say I'm playing through it, and then I think, well, this is an interesting position. What are the best moves? Now, what you can do. Now, when you buy ChessBase, it actually comes with a couple of engines. And what does that mean? It means you can analyze the game you're looking at. And the way to do it, amongst others, is you add Kibitzer. And then it gives you a list of engines to choose from. These are all the engines that either came with the software when I bought it. And I think that's basically Fritz 11 SC and maybe Deep Fritz 13. Or stuff which I've added, which I think is all of the others, not sure. So let's say I want to analyze it with Komodo 11, version 11. I'll go onto it, and I think you've seen this on the calls as well. You get a window down here with the top few lines, and you can change the number of lines. You can have 4 or 5 or reduce it to 3 or whatever. And it gives you what the top moves are in this position. So at the moment, it seems to think that Queen E2 is the best move, and so on. And so you haven't just got like an electronic book of your games. You've also got the means to analyze them with extremely powerful engines. And
Colin, I was going to suggest if you click the reference tab, that's quite a useful feature. So when it's on notation, it's looking at the current game.
Okay.
But
I'll do it by and close the engine.
Oh yeah, close the engine first.
It can be a bit slow.
Otherwise it grinds to a halt.
So what the reference database is an automatic search for the current position in the game against a database of your choice. Now, at the moment, the database of my choice is, and you configure that somewhere, is this huge database of over 6 million. So in a position like this, where there's only 3 games played apparently in this position, it's
you've got top games selected.
Oh, that's a point. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's restricting it to, yeah, you've got to be sort of 2,500 to feature in that search.
Okay, that's still selected, is it, that top games feature?
Yeah, it's bottom right.
Right.
You could, it's underneath. You see the little game board on the right hand side.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can uncheck it underneath, and then underneath, keep going down above that green horizontal line.
Oh, there, got you.
That's it.
Okay.
So if you untick that,
It'll get slower.
well, you'll see the number of games that it finds suddenly shoots up. It's including all and sundry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this has been very much a whistle top tour. There's a ton of features in ChessBase. I just wanted to give a flavour of what the main ones were to those who hadn't used the ChessBase locally before. And I think it is incredibly useful. For one thing, when you run the engines on the web, the server's probably running the engine for 500 different people at the same time or something. You're only getting a thin slice of it. And, you can choose what databases to download and so on. Before finishing off, can I just do one more thing? What I'd like to do is, I noticed today, I talked about these engines, and you might think, well, where on earth do they all come from? And what you can do, and as I say, I've added these to ChessBase, and that's a very easy operation. It's an operation in 2 stages. First of all, you go to a website which lets you download an engine, and a lot of them let you download the last but one version for free. So, for example, if the current version of Komodo, which is the engine I'm going to show, is 13, they let you download version 12 for free. And I've noticed that version 3 has become available. So I downloaded it earlier today, and all I need to do to add it to ChessBase is go to where I've downloaded it.
You never need to have paid for a previous version of that particular engine in order
Correct,
to get this free one.
Yeah, that's totally correct.
So you can start with a free one.
And we're talking about something which is stronger than Nano 3000 plus. It's just they're just ridiculously strong. You're not buying a ropey limited engine. It really is the full thing. And now, if I want to add a kibitzer, that should be available without crashing my PC, hopefully. I didn't test this. So there you go.
Okay. Well, thanks.
That's that.
Thanks, Colin. That was a very good whistle stop tour.